Things are about to get a little bit spicy, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a problem. It appears that James Gunn has gone too far. The director is attempting to appeal to the ill will. Can you believe that something has occurred in this DC universe that most of us will find inappropriate? However, to James Gunn, it is his life story. So today, it is time for your boy O to cook. That's right. Trust me. By the end of this video, you should have a clear understanding on why James Gunn was the wrong guy to run DC Studios. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here's what we're talking about. This article is coming from cosmicbooknews.com. By the way, the only site talking about this, this is not Pornhub Comics. This should be big news. Everybody should have an article on this topic. It is titled, James Gunn's Superman sequel features DC characters exposed to each other. Now, I put the word exposed up there, but the true word would be the one that you use when someone forces themselves upon another. Just to give you a visual understanding on what we're talking about. Let's go. James Gunn has said his Peacemaker Season 2 is a direct sequel to his Superman movie. But instead of building on Superman's story in a meaningful way, Gunn leans into shock value, crude humor, and political messaging. In his own words, Gunn previously described Peacemaker as following directly from Superman. Gunn even went as far as saying Peacemaker Season 2 might be the work he's most proud of. I wonder why. How come it isn't Superman, but it's Peacemaker? Maybe Peacemaker leans more into what he actually does in his spare time. I just want to point that out. All right. The most recent episode I'm talking about Peacemaker here. The most recent episode highlights Gunn's controversial take. Episode 6 features Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor sharing a prison scene with Frank Grillo's Rick Flag Sr. During their conversation, Lex casually remarks, let's see what Lex says.
Lex, last time I saw you, you were denying metahumans were a threat. And now it seems they're taking over the world. Sorta, yeah. And the Justice Gang and Superman determining international politics. Meanwhile, I'm here in Belle Reve listening to a bear-sized man with dragon skin, but fucking a glowing twink with cartoon eyes in his cell beside me every night.
Wait a minute. So now you're telling me that this is now an episode of Penitentiary? Did you hear what Lex said? He's implying Killer Croc is having sex with Dr. Phosphorus. Okay? And forcefully. What the hell is going on with DC? It continues. This isn't an isolated case. Gunn has already drawn backlash for approving the John Cena Peacemaker emote in Fortnite, which Epic Games pulled after players flagged it for containing Nazi-inspired imagery. Oh my goodness. So, we got a couple of things going on here. First, James Gunn and his sexual addiction. Let me address that. How is it that everything has to revolve around sex regarding that of Peacemaker? Think about it now. In episode 1, we had an orgy. In that orgy, everything was X-rated. All right. Now here it is in episode 6. We find out that orgy continues in prison. Unwillingly. Okay. You got Killer Croc in there bending over Dr. Phosphorus. And I wonder how that can occur. Maybe the doctor could turn down the heat a little bit. I don't know. But if you ask me, his ass is on fire. Physically and mentally. Oh my God. This man has poor taste, ladies and gentlemen. He does. He cannot tell a straightforward story. All right. He's giving you visual representations of his life. Let me guess. This is what he and John Cena may be doing behind closed doors after each episode of Peacemaker is done filming. Or maybe his wife may join in as well. Okay. I got into DC for the characters. I did not get into DC for the director's life. All right. I want a story about DC characters. I do not need all of the extra. What I need that for? What do I need all of this unnecessary plot points for? Okay? Just things thrown in there out of nowhere. Lex Luthor didn't even have to say that. Take out that and the conversation isn't any different. He's too extra. Okay? Too much going on. The man cannot stop giving you his life story, ladies and gentlemen. That is what's going on here. He can't stop. All he wants to do is force this whole lifestyle that he's living upon you. And it's a shame that some folks out there are actually supporting this. They are. They're like, oh man, Peacemaker episode 6 was fire. Fire? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And here it is. They told us that Zack Snyder's DC universe was too damn dark. Hell, Zack Snyder didn't even go that far. He did not go that far. Okay? Is it okay because the colors are bright? I don't know. Something is mentally wrong with these people. Something is wrong with them. A lot of them needs to take their medicine. Instead of worried about what other people are saying about this DC universe, maybe you should pay attention as to what is going on. There's a reason why the viewership for Peacemaker isn't what everyone thought it would be. There's a reason why the viewership for Superman isn't what everyone thought it would be. It is because this man is not for everybody. The way that he tells his story. And this goes back all the way to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 with Ego. Ego having sex with half of the damn universe and killing his own damn children. Possibly having sex with his own children. This is a problem, ladies and gentlemen. This man should not be touching DC. And let's talk about the other problem. The political messaging. Okay, I understand that James Gunn wants to be progressive. However, he's doing it in the wrong way. All right. First up, this is the wrong time for you to get political. Okay, things are going on in this country that I feel that an episode of Peacemaker is not going to fix. So there's no need for you to force it in there. All right. And secondly, you're adding to it, sir. That's right. That perfect universe, you should have seen all of the neo-Nazis online talk about how clean the universe was, all because black people did not exist. So you gave them something. You see what I'm saying here? They don't see that as a bad universe, regardless of to how you're trying to perceive it or not. They don't see it as a bad universe. In fact, they enjoy it. So you're adding to it, Mr. Gunn. And it's a shame that people do not recognize that. I think this is a cult. That's right. I believe that these people feel that James Gunn is so right for DC. It has gotten to a point to where they are unwilling to recognize DC's faults. And it's all because of James Gunn. There's a reason why they're trying to run with every story about Superman being successful, despite the numbers not adding up. The math isn't mathing. And here it is. DC continues to fall. The direction is off. James Gunn was the wrong guy to run this universe. He has no true vision All he is doing is giving you his life story. And I'm here to tell you, I don't want it. I do not want James Gunn's life story. I want the stories of DC characters. That is what I want. And people out there talking about comic book accurate. There's nothing comic book accurate about James Gunn's DC universe. In fact, it is far away from being comic book accurate. Peacemaker is nothing like that in the comics. Nothing. Superman isn't anything like that in the comics or cartoons. Maybe Justice League action. Maybe. Just maybe. All right. Just a maybe. Guy Gardner is in fact. Ultraman is not a clone of Superman. All right. It's not comic book accurate. It's James Gunn's story. And many people are going to be turned off by it. Trust me when I tell you, in due time, you all will realize just how bad this guy is for that of DC. In the future, the only people that you will have to blame is yourselves. Don't look over here. Don't talk about Snyder cultists and all that. I don't want to hear all that. Because what James Gunn is bringing to the table is not attracting me. In fact, it's pushing me farther away from the brand. And I'm not the only person feel like this. All right. There's a lot of people out there who saying, hey man, what this guy is doing just is not for me. Okay. They're turned off by every idea that is in this DC universe. Killer Croc and Dr. Phosphorus doing what they're doing in a cell next to Lex Luthor is something that you cannot get your kids to sit down and watch. And I thought the point was for DC Studios to attract families. All right. When you tell people that Peacemaker is a direct sequel to Superman and they show up for that and they see what goes on in your DC universe, they're going to abandon it. Okay. The only person that you can have to blame is the director. The creative direction that they have decided to go in. It's turning a lot of people off. It's a goddamn shame. DC used to be better than this. In fact, DC was epic. That's right. DC was cinema. DC was unique. Now here it is. It's just a popcorn flick catering to a bunch of pedophiles and people out there who are sick in the mind. That's right. I do not need the fantasies of a broken director. I do not need the ambitions of someone who's upset because he got canceled, all because he tweeted what he decided to tweet. And somehow, some way, that is everyone else's fault. Now here it is. He is going to force himself upon us all. And I ain't with it. I ain't with it. I'm your boy O. Hopefully you have watched this video all the way to the end to help your boy out that algorithm. And if you're not subscribed, please be sure to do so. Trying to reach that big number of 100,000 subs. So I'll be highly appreciative. You will help me cross over that threshold by hitting that subscribe button. Then after you hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that notification bell because YouTube absolutely sucks at notifying subscribers that content creators has uploaded videos to their platform. Hitting that notification bell certainly helps. And don't forget to hit that like button to help me out with that algorithm, baby. But in the comments below, let me know, what do you think about episode 6 of Peacemaker? And also, are you like me? You're just not with this DC universe solely because it is about James Gunn and not about the DC characters. And always remember, let the la bon don boule. That means let the good times roll. But let me know in the comments below.